Hello everyone, welcome to Headlines of the Day, the Indian Express. This is 23rd of April 2022 and we're back again with some of the major articles from the newspaper. Let's begin our today's discussion with the very first article on page number 3 from International Relations. It has quite an interesting headline which says, Modi has asked Putin several times what on earth he thinks he is doing, says Boris Johnson. Then there's another article, Living Bridges, on page number 14 on the same issue. From these articles, you have to consider what are the outcomes of recent bilateral meeting between India and the United Kingdoms, the focused areas, growth in bilateral trade and potential to double trade by 2030, the challenges and what lies ahead. Moving further on page number 6 from GS1 Geography, there's an article about Western disturbances, how Western disturbances are keeping Delhi weather in a flux. So what are Western disturbances, mechanics and effect of the Western disturbances in India? Moving further on page number 11 from GS2 Polity and Governance, it talks about Prime Minister's April 24 event in Jammu and Kashmir village to be live streamed. So this will happen on the occasion of National Panchayati Raj Day on April 24th. From this article, you have to learn facts related to the National Panchayati Raj Day and genesis of Panchayati Raj in India. Moving further on page number 14 from GS1 Society section, there's an article that is written by Mr. Ashutosh Varshne that speaks the difference this time. Processions rarely connected to riots are now creating them. Neutrality of state government is eroding. You have to know about India's long history of communal violence, how similar or different are recent episodes, the factors contributing to the communal violence, impact of communal violence and what is the possible scenario ahead. Moving further on page number 15 from GS1 Society itself, there's another article that is written by Mr. K.P. Shankaran and it talks about interrogating violence. It is in Gandhi's vision of modernity that we can find an antidote to the state-sponsored violence. From this article, you have to consider why violence continues to remain a recurrent phenomenon, their cause and effects. What is required is to put an end to all forms of violence that are not necessary, how to control its occurrence in the human societies, the Gandhi solution and its significance in the present scenario and what lies ahead. Moving further on page number 18 from GS2 Polity and Governance, this is an interesting article that talks about rules for tapping a phone. So this is pertaining to a case that happened. Shiv Sena's Sanjay Raut has accused the Center for Protecting IPS Officer Rashmi Shukla under the probe of tapping the phones of political leaders in 2019. From this article, you'll get to know how are the phones tapped in India, what laws govern tapping, and what are checks in this particular scenario. Moving further on page number 18 itself from GST Environment section, there's an article that talks about the Earth Day that was celebrated on April 22nd. So, annual reminder on the environment to live a more sustainable life. From this article, you have to consider what is Earth Day and its significance. Moving further on page number 21 from GS3 Economy section, there's an article talks about UPI in UAE and how will it work. From this article, you have to know about the partnership between the National Payments Corporation of India (NPCI) and the Mashreq Bank's NeoPay, that is of the United Arab Emirates. And how does the service work? Will UPI be accepted everywhere in the UAE? And does the NPCI have other such international arrangements? So with this, we call it a wrap of today's edition of the Indian Express Headlines of the Day. We'll see you with more such videos in the coming future. Till then, do stay tuned and take care.